So is the 50-30-20 rule the best way to manage your money? Does it guarantee that you're going to become a millionaire? And if not, does it at least guarantee that you're going to be better off than where you were before? So personally, I used to use the 50-30-20 rule, but then I had to stop because I ran into 3 specific problems with it. But before we get into it, we need to know how it became really popular. So the 50-30-20 rule has been around for quite a long time, but it became really popular when a US Senator named Elizabeth Warren wrote her book. So the book was called All You're Worth: The Ultimate Lifetime Money Plan. Now, to her credit, she used to give financial counsel to people before she became a US Senator. So what exactly is the 50-30-20 rule that she helped make so popular? So the 50-30-20 rule is a breakdown, and the first 50% of your money should go to needs. Now, when we're talking about these things, really what we're talking about is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And the first 2 levels of that are physiological and safety. So those 2 categories at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs are going to be basic things such as food, shelter, water, making sure that you are physically safe. Anything that contributes to that is going to fall under a need. So an easy way to figure out a need is if you just imagine yourself on a desert island. And look, I don't know why we always assume that the island is a desert. That's just how it works in these situations, okay? So just go with it. So back to the desert island example. If you're still arguing with yourself about what is actually a need, like a lot of people end up doing, then just imagine what you have to take to a desert island. You're not gonna bring your Gucci shoes or like a PlayStation or anything like that. You're just gonna take like the basics. If you could only take 5 things, it's gonna be things like a tent, a way to hunt food and get water. Because a lot of times the things that we think we need aren't actually needs, they're wants. So the next 30% is going to be things that we would define as wants. So that's going to be traveling to exotic locations or to go see family somewhere when it's really cold up north and you're tired of living in Florida. Or maybe it's that coffee in the morning that you have to get on your way to work. Anything that isn't going to directly contribute to those needs in the first 50% that we're spending on, that is going to be what qualifies in that 30%. So at the tail end of the 50-30-20 is the 20%, which goes to savings, debts, and investments. So that's going to be different things like credit cards, stocks, your 401k, any of those things is kind of what the 20% is supposed to be allocated for. So the 50-30-20 rule is a good system if you don't have a system, but the reality is there's a lot of criticisms out there to it. So Albert Einstein was a very smart guy, and he has a quote to where he said that every problem should be simplified as much as possible, but no further. And that's where the 50-30-20 rule kind of starts to break down. It's just too simplified to match everybody. We talk about financial footprints all the time. The reality is your footprint is more unique to you than your fingerprint. But the cops can't find footprints very often because we tend to wear a lot of shoes when we're robbing stuff. So because of that, they go for fingerprints. See, differentiating the difference between a need and a want can be really hard sometimes. Because sure, you need shelter, but do you need a luxury apartment? You need a nice car to get you places that's not gonna break down on you, but do you need a Mercedes-Benz? Yeah, both of those are gonna fall into the needs category if we talk about transportation, but the reality is you're gonna pay a lot more for one than you are the other, and that's going to impact what exactly is going in that 50%. The second problem is what is your take-home pay and where do you live? You may only bring home $40,000 a year after taxes, but if you live in a really expensive big city, you're not gonna have any money left over to put into the 20% to begin with. So the third criticism, and ultimately why I stopped using the 50-30-20 rule, is because if you start earning a high income, like $250,000 a year, then if you are still spending 80% on needs and wants, you are never going to get very far ahead. You need to be investing more at that level of income. So is this rule the best way to become a millionaire as quickly as possible? Not really. See, it's a good framework if you don't have a framework and you're probably making somewhere in between $60,000 to $150,000 and have a little bit of money left over after you've bought all of your necessities and a couple things that you need. If you're making a lot less money than that, or you're making that much and you live in a super high cost area and most of that is eaten up to begin with, or if you're making a lot more money than that, then the 50-30-20 rule just doesn't really work as far as getting you ahead in order to building wealth. In fact, if your goal is to become a millionaire as quickly as possible, the best thing you can do with the 50-30-20 rule is flip it and make it the 20-30-50 rule. So as your income grows, if you can do 20% on your needs, 30% on wants, and then 50% investing, then that is going to help you generate and build wealth much faster than if you were doing it the other way. If you enjoyed this video and it brought you some value, please be sure to hit the subscribe and the like button. It would really help out and I would appreciate it. On top of it, be sure to take this video and then share it with some friends that you think would ultimately benefit from learning about the 50-30-20 rule and whether or not it's the right way for them to use their money. Also, if you have a way that you like to budget your money or that you're managing it, it's a very unique situation and I'd love to hear about it. So put it down in the comments and let me know what it is that you're doing, some of the strategies that you use for your finances.